DC and Marvel have been in a battle for a really long time. To the comic books, to the Funko Pops, to the movies, to the TV shows, they've been in a battle for a really long time. I personally prefer DC to Marvel, so here are my top 10 DC movies. Despite some terrible actors, the villain included, Man of Steel has some outstanding stuff. One of the main parts is the score, which is like the icing on the cake in many senses, improving upon each scene it's used. It explores this character discovering his powers and discovering who he is, which seems like a Batman thing, but at the same time he has superhuman powers, so showing him discovering his powers is a lot more different than with Batman. Henry Cavill makes the writing for this work to a phenomenal extent. Some people hate the action, I think it's pretty well done, and yeah, Zod is over the top, but he's also a nice rival at the same time, so yeah, Man of Steel's great. I really debate whether I like the 89 one better, or this one, but as odd as this sounds, I find less flaws in this film. Danny DeVito is honestly, for the most part, amazing as the Penguin, and he's great at playing this psychopath, which is normally what makes a great Batman villain. Michelle Pfeiffer is also amazing as Catwoman, who is honestly the most entertaining Batman villain to watch, and not in the way you think, get your mind out of the gutter. It also has outstanding atmosphere and a great score, like the first, and my only issue is that at times it gets a little bit too weird, but it's a fantastic film nonetheless. Yes, another Batman film, and no, that won't be most of the list. This is a film that doesn't deserve enough discussion, and it should. Unlike the other Batman films, it's mostly told from Commissioner Gordon's point of view, so instead of Batman's, for the most part giving it a more different perspective than we normally see. The animation also just completely brings Gotham to life in a very well done way. It's hard to find gaping holes with this film, honestly. If you have not, I highly recommend you should check this film out. Now listen, Batman Year One is probably better made, but Birds of Prey is just so entertaining to watch. Margot Robbie gives an outstanding performance as playing the crazy jerk Harley Quinn, no argument there. And Ewan McGregor is outstanding at playing the sick, maniacal Black Mask. They fit the roles perfectly. I honestly don't see anyone playing these two any better. This might also have the best editing in a DC film. It's just so creative and adds so much to the enjoyment of the film. Since Harley Quinn is such an unreliable narrator, it also makes the movie all the more entertaining to watch. The fight choreography is also outstanding. I honestly think it's better than the Dark Knight's fighting choreography. Sure, yeah, it has the feminist tropes, good women take evil man, but you hardly notice it. In a way, it's a feminist film done right. I know, me liking Wonder Woman, how original of me. But trust me, I got more to add than you think. Especially for an underwear model, Gal Gadot gives an outstanding performance. She was really one of the main parts that brought the character of Wonder Woman to life. She even talks to people she's going to save. How rare do you see that in a DC movie? Chris Pine is also great and likable as usual, while still playing a serious role when he needs to. The one time this film kinda screws up, like most people say, in the third act. It didn't ruin the movie for me, but it's definitely a negative. If that didn't happen and they tightened that up a bit better, this might have been in the top 3, but it's still my favorite DCU film. Discussing these two films back to back is an odd thing to do because they are way too different to really switch, but I guess I'll try my best. It is honestly kind of a character study of Batman, why he pushes people away and why he is the way he is, which is just so odd to say that the Lego Batman film is a character study, but it honestly is, and it's a really outstanding one. This film is the only movie I could think of to have Voldemort in it and have it work. The animation is so great, it's very creative, and it takes this creativity to its fullest in the animation as a whole. Honestly, this film is just, there's not a ton of flaws with it. I just like the other ones a little bit more. I have heard people say that they don't really like it, and I'm going to defend this film to the brim. The origin is one of the best of all time. Nolan's astonishing non-linear storytelling works absolutely perfect in this film, but in a way, all the small pieces we are shown are connected. If they weren't, it just wouldn't make sense and it would be confusing. But since Nolan is such an outstanding writer, he pulls it off with excellence. Ra's al Ghul is also a fantastic film, but not in the way you think. I think what makes him such a great villain is the fact that is the one different rule that he has than Batman, which is the fact that he will kill. And he also taught Batman everything he knows as well, which also creates another dynamic into the movie. So we get that whole just overall dynamic inside of the film, and that just what makes this film so great. That's what makes a good amount of Batman movies so great, such as The Dark Knight and Batman Begins, is just the different rules of our villain and hero. This film might feel dated for a lot of people, but in my opinion, it's still one of DC's biggest accomplishments. The score is one of the best ever made. Every tune impacts the scene in a perfect way. I have heard people say Lex Luthor wasn't that great, but I thought the performance was basically perfect. Maybe at times it's a bit cheesy, but that's kind of the charm to it in a way. Once again, outstanding origin that shows the classic origin of Superman in such a straightforward but compelling way. This film is such a classic that deserves more appreciation. Since you know I haven't seen Joker, you probably don't have a bloody clue what my number one is unless you talk to me very often. But yeah, this one was fantastic. Of course, Heath Ledger is amazing at playing the psychotic lunatic, and he is just so amazing at playing it. But even then, everyone is great. Christian Bale, Michael Caine, everyone is just fantastic. The dialogue is also just so perfectly written. It feels like they put their soul and passion into the script. The action is amazing, and it's just choreographed perfectly. It looks absolutely stunning as well, and it's a near perfect film, but there is one film I like a tad bit more. So yeah, I got some explaining to do. I watched this film for the first time about a month ago, and I fell in love with it. I have always been a massive fan of dystopian fiction, and this is no exception. It's so intriguing, and I constantly want to know more about how the world works. The actor who plays Vendetta is perfect, and the dialogue on paper might not seem as perfect as it is, but Vendetta's execution makes it all the more marvelous. The action and editing are out of this world, and so well done, making it a joy to watch. Up to the point of watching this film, I've only seen Natalie Portman in the prequels, but wow, she feels like a completely different person. She played in her performance perfectly in this film, and we discover more things about Vendetta and the world around us through her lens. I heard it's very different from the comic, and honestly, this makes me want to read the comic. So hey guys, that's my top 10 DC movies. Maybe tell me your favorite. Maybe tell me your top 5 or your top 10. I don't care personally. Whatever you want to go for. Maybe even a top 50. I don't know. But yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.